Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the third edition of Capsule. Capsule, a platform that is created to address knowledge gap. Knowledge gap basically impacts and actually brings in the gap in the relationship. And in the very first two edition of Capsule, what we have discussed is that how this gap is impacting our stakeholders, our doctors, our patient, and how we as the pharma industry uh, people, how are we taking it up? What are the tactics that we have been laying out? What's working in the short term? And what are the things that we should be addressing to address the long term gap? So, coming to the third edition, I would like to now introduce the panelist. So, I have here Mr. Pawan Kulkarni, GM Corporate Strategy, JB Chemicals and Pharmaceutical. Mr. Ravi Kumar Singh, General Manager, Eris Lifesciences Ltd, and Mr. Makarand Kulkarni, Head of PMO, Sanofi, India. So, Mr. Pawan Kulkarni, welcome. Good afternoon.
Hi.
So, your journey is definitely a medical rep's dream journey. Starting from the medical rep and now leading the brand building, marketing, behavior. How's the journey been for you?
Quite interesting. Never planned because I think, like everyone in pharma, we don't come by choice, but we have to make a. So, whatever, do it nicely, do it best. So, things will work out for you.
That's the spirit. All right. So please join me to welcome Mr. Ravi Kumar Singh. 16 years of pharma marketing. Now is the General Manager of Marketing for the Neurology Division. Welcome. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much. It's a great, learning and a time spent in this industry, and being very, very rewarding for me. I started my career as a medical representative, and now it's been in this, last 5 years. I'm working as general manager. So it's a great work, great thing has happened to me, and also I have been able to make a couple of brands, which is now the brand leader in the segments. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us and welcome Mr. Pawan and Mr. Ravi. I think it's an honor to moderate the session with you two. And I would now like to move and introduce, last but not the least, Mr. Makarand Kulkarni, Head PMO. So, if we see his journey, different geographies, India, Europe, APAC, he's been leading different function. Right from being the visiting faculty, he also still is a student and the learning continues. Hello, sir. How do you do today?
Hi, Zeenat. Thank you so much. Great to be here. Uh, yeah, so I think, like most of us, I started my journey as a medical rep. I think I've been quite lucky to, not only work in different geographies, but I would say different departments. I've been working in marketing, sales, project management, mergers and acquisitions, and also marketing excellence. Yeah, I think it's great to be here with and a good opportunity to make great friends, and nice to be here with Pawan and Ravi, and looking forward to the conversation.
Thank you so much for joining in and welcome to all the speakers today. Thank you again for joining in. So, getting on, and I think what we've always started, and before we get on to discussing what strategies, the tactics can play in not working, I think it's important to address what's the change, what's changing. These are things that we're living. We see what's happening not just in the industry, but things around us. That's rapidly changing, and so are things in pharma industry. So I'd like to start with Mr. Pawan here. And so the question that I have for you is that how's the shift been since lockdown till now? And with this change that we are moving with, do you see that we as an industry are also moving at the same pace that the need is? Uh, what's the change that's happening for our customers, our end impacting stakeholders, our patients, and what do you see is to be the challenge today for us with the shift and the change that we've all been experiencing?
Mute. Okay, that's quite a question. Unexpectedly, all this lot has been discussed. We have been reading since last 2 years with this crisis of COVID and everything gets locked down. Uh, a doctor doesn't want to meet the patient doesn't want to meet the doctor, and risk and not knowing earlier. But now, when the understanding on the COVID is going up, the behavior is changing. So restricting, since we are talking more towards marketing and sales related to pharma, couple of things which I had noticed was when we went under a lockdown, who were affected. Talking about the sales and marketing, those salespeople were affected who didn't have the good relationship with the doctors. Right. So somebody who had a good relationship, they could touch base through a WhatsApp or a call or a number of things. Then a tsunami of webinars and all started coming in. So many of the things have changed. Many have tried to adopt to new things. And more important, how the behavior of doctors. In fact, I was reading in some report a couple of months back, there is a 700% rise in doctors using social media. So including doctors are turning. So ultimately, they are also human. They also have the same kind of interests and likings like any one of us. So, and more important, when all these Zoom webinars, digital mode, everything. So whatever happens, I mean, history is evident. Whatever happens in crisis time, a lot of it, residual habits are carried further. So even going further, what you asked, I would not say it is a challenge. I would rather term it as an opportunity for industry to change. Only the one-to-one, the sales and marketing functions, where earlier it used to be one-to-one. Today we can have a hybrid model and various functions, various ways. But more important, I would not be advocating, though I write a lot about digital and all, but I would not advocate that digital will overtake the human connection. No. Honestly, no amount of digital can replace a human smile. So if we train our medical reps to give that smile, as at the same time be a smartsman along with salesman, so that can be a good opportunity. So it's not a challenge; it is rather a opportunity to change. So this is what I feel.
Thank you for that word of wisdom, that the shift actually brings in the opportunity. I like the term that you use, the smart salesperson. And I think it's coexisting. The digital transformation can never be seen in isolation. It's actually coexisting. And with that, I'll move to Mr. Makarand. And so when we talk about the change, when we talk about how we are addressing it, and digital transformation is now embraced by every organization. Some are at a faster pace, some at a slower pace. Uh, what do you see as the biggest challenge with this shift and change of transformation that the organizations are facing? Uh, with this also, do you see that the customers are accepting it? Because Mr. Pawan also spoke about the behavior change that the customers are happening today. And they are becoming a triple user, triple screen user, bite-sized content is what they need. And definitely, if positive experience is not delivered, they are going to click off. They are never going to come back and interact or engage with you on that touch point. So, are our customers adopting with the change? Are we as the industry and the organization also changing? And what are the challenges that we face with the change?
See, first of all, I would like to, with your kind permission, would like to just correct you on one statement. I think we haven't yet gone to the stage of digital transformation. As an industry, I think what we have done is we have merely started with digitalization of our promotion, product promotion or marketing. I think if you ask me who has undergone digital transformation, I would give full marks to the banking industry or even logistics for that matter. I think we as an industry will take some time to we love ourselves to call that we have undergone digital transformation, but I think we are not yet there. The reason I started my discussion with this point is just to also stress upon the fact that we have been followers. Pharma industry has been followers. If you see that the digital promotion was started definitely long ago by the FMCG world and also the other industries. And unfortunately, what has happened, Zenat, is that we followed on the footsteps, never realizing that the digital promotion for pharma is actually a different thing what is required. Now, I can tell you one simple thing is even we measure our digital footprint or promotion by click rates, open rates, and such kind of stuff, what one mentioned. Uh, See, I feel that that is not the right stuff to do for or right stuff to measure when it comes to pharma. Why? Because see, for a consumer good, visibility really matters. Okay, but do you think that visibility really only visibility matters for medical pharma promotion? I think the success of a marketing campaign cannot be measured by the open rates and click rates. Is there a way to understand the shift belief? Because the two ends, there is a click rate and open rate and the prescription in between, there's something which is the shift of belief. Now, trust me, even as we talk about FMCG, even they do it. If you feel that FMCG only measures the social media, metrics in terms of tracking, no. They do massive research, consumer research in terms of the belief shift and product preferences and sites and all. So what is happening is that in our industry, we have gone their way by measuring, by promotion, digital media promotion, but we haven't really got as robust as that industry when it comes to research. Okay, for us, research many a times is all about ready-made reports that come, the stuff what we get from BCG or McKinsey or anyone else for that matter. I think that is good, but to answer your question, number one, we are yet to start the digital transformation. Number two, we need to still understand and figure out that what actually digital promotion means for pharma. And number three is that nobody asked the doctor that what he or she wants. And maybe it was too short. COVID came in, we suddenly got into it. Now there are two things. Now there was this report which came in from BCG, which I just mentioned. You know what? This report is very recent, and it says that even today, uh, post-vaccination, it has a data point of post-vaccination. Even today, doctors feel 30% of doctors would prefer to have more of face-to-face contact. Now, you might say that 30% is less, but I would say that 30% are talking about face-to-face contact. Close to 40 odd percentage, they feel that there should be a balance between face-to-face and digital. And then there are the balance percentage which say that fine, we need to have more of remote. That tells me something that doctors who prefer face-to-face contact are lying in both the buckets. One, those who feel it should be face-to-face, and those who feel that it should be hybrid. So we can't really forget that. And just imagine doctors are saying this, right? We tend to think that doctors are they don't like face-to-face communication, meeting medical reps, but that's not true. The fact remains that not only the industry, but the doctors do feel the need for meeting face-to-face. So that's about one part. I think the second part is the challenge. The second question of which you asked, the challenge here is uh, I think doctors are really hazarded a lot now. They're really hazarded. I feel the reason they're hazarded. See, they don't have control uh, over the digital promotion what pharma industry does. Unlike they had some amount of control in the in-clinic promotion. And whether we like it or no, so there were rules set. The first 5 cards, Thursdays, Wednesdays. If someone is trying to promote a brand, I can say, guys, I need to go for the surgery. Can we stop here? So forth and so on. So besides the fact that the conversations are really missing, what is happening is doctors feels a loss of control. Now I'll tell you what, uh, another report of BCG, doctors have complained that there is untimely bombardment of emails and messages. When I say untimely, can you believe it? When doctors actually go to bed in the night and when they wake up, their email is spammed by emails. Now, what doctor is saying that, guys, this is not done. I don't like to wake up with my inbox with 200 mails from 35 companies. So the timing is the challenge. He has no control. Number one. Number two is that not all companies, as I understand, they have this policy of contacting a doctor on WhatsApp or emails with, only after taking permission. Like some companies do have this, that if I don't, if Zeenat or Ravi, you are a doctor, and unless I get a written consent, I can't approach you digitally. But not many companies do that. So as a result, what has happened? A doctor could control number of medical rep visits in a day. Today, he has no control on the touch points. Number two, he had control on time. There is no control on time. So poor fellow is little hazard is the issue. And third point is that we feel that digital medium is not a challenge. According to me, I think the challenge is the content. That there are so many things, rep triggered emails and all and everything. I think we don't have to put out anything out of bucket. We need to see that are we seriously putting engaging content, or it's like those mails which says that you can win 25 lakh lottery. So I mean, not to take it seriously, but the whole idea is that I think in this race to be seen and be visible, we have forgotten to make our content very engaging. These are the three things.
Thank you, Mr. Makarand. I think I stand corrected. Our digitalization step towards using the digital channel to promote HCP, I hope, with a very fast pace and scale, is where we, as an industry, move towards the transformation in true terms of where the finance industry, like you mentioned, they currently are. Uh, so the part where you mentioned about the change in the customer behavior, their needs which are changing, with that, I think if we come to the three C's, the customer, the content, and the channel, uh, are we understanding the various different need of the customer, their channel, the content need, their timing, their preferences? uh, are we mapping our content and media strategy in an integrated marketing approach, or with that mindset? With that, I'll come to Mr. Ravi Kumar. A question to you with this: how much do you think we have moved in terms of integrated marketing approach? And the best example which already came up while Mr. Pawan was addressing is from the FMCG industry. So where do you think we are, and what are the things we need to do in order to pace up and catch up with the FMCG industry?
Thank you very much. I feel that we are yet to start. We are not even scratched it. So still we believe that if we have some information, something we have downloaded from PubMed or something or somewhere, and we offload these to doctors, they will appreciate it. I think we are in the fool's paradise. So all the due regards to all the senior managers and brand managers. There was a review in Harvard Business Review. It says that 74% of the information what we offload to the doctors, all of them are stale information. We being a generic market, we need to understand this, whether we actually do need to do that. We need to question this ourselves. And then what we do, we convert this in some infograms or something, and we offload, as Mr. Makarand has rightly pointed out, that we offload and mailbox jam packed. What I understand from the understanding the need of customer, perhaps I think today also we are promoting our brand where how we were at the medical. This means we have the same mindset what there in the 70s and 90s. We have not moved it. We cannot do marketing in 2021 with the same mindset. Today we will need to understand that if we can generate our own data, fair enough. or else do something which is required for the customers. I understand the best link between customer and doctor and company is the patient, right? If you do something for the patient, there's n number of things which can be done for the patient and digitally, and there are n number of initiatives, n number of ways that can be done. So let's say one simple example what FMCG keeps on doing is geofencing. Let's say you are living in, let's say in Borivali, and you are crossing to Thakur complex. There's a one big banner hoarding is kept on, and you pass on, then you will suddenly you will see an SMS that, are you interested in buying so and so flat? That's called geofencing. Are you capable enough to do that geofencing in that particular clinic? That the moment you enter in that clinic, the doctor gets a text message or the patient gets a text message. This is called geofencing. This is advanced technology people can use, and this is economically available. There are so many n number of things which FMCG people are doing, and we have not yet started. There are some concept, Kyle, now many of the big hospitals, big institute, they are using this kind of ambulatory things. Are we doing those ambulatory things? Put on the devices on the patient body, and then you move ahead, and then a doctor will keep on getting the reports on his laptop over the clouds. That's called digital technology. Now all these things, if we want to do, we need to pep up. We need to understand the need of ourselves. We need to make our own infrastructure so robust that when we deliver these things to customer, they should be delighted. There should be no glitch, and this is flawless. So this is what the power of technology, power of digital thing can happen over the period of time. Yeah.
Got it. Hassle-free experience, enriching experience for the customer, and this entire journey of that doctor being supported by the robustness of technology. So I think here, Mr. Pawan, coming to you, like how Mr. Ravi mentioned about, uh, we've got to start playing it right, because if we see the new trends in technology, AI, machine learning, big data, I think 21 is not the year when we can actually call them as newer trends. They have been there around for a long time. When it comes to optimizing, channelizing the potential of it, various different industries have started applying it and utilizing it for the right reason, getting the right scale. Uh, we hear and see that the familiarization and adoption towards these topics have definitely increased in the last 1 year with COVID. But why is that the change is still slow? What are the roadblocks that you currently see, which we overall as an industry need to look at and address?
Yeah, yeah, very interestingly pointed out by both of my friends. I'll put it in a perspective, in a storyline. In last 2 years, what we saw a lot of digital happening in all, and I'm making this statement which some might not even like, but yes, that is a fact, because after speaking to at least 30, 35 friends across different industry, I mean, in the different companies in pharma, what I have generalized is, the tech savvy people in the companies are not decision makers, and decision makers in the company are not tech savvy. Now, this is one biggest. Second, those who are tech savvy, they are not decision makers because they want to do everything on digital available. I remember during early times, one of my doctor friend told, "ये क्या digital ला रखा है तुम लोगों ने?" Somebody has sent him a 15-page PDF on a iron brand. What will I do with the iron brand? So digital is a full platter. It keeps on changing. Now, what happens is, how to bring the perspectives. One is micro payments. Now, in India, micro payments are increasing. Things have turned into OTT. Now, theaters were closed. OTT has picked up. Now, if you see, there was somebody was saying that maybe Shah Rukh Khan is the last of superstars, and there will be many small stars who are doing well with OTT. You take in terms of comparison with the same thing. In terms of digital, I'm not saying that we can't do digital as at par with FMCG. In fact, I was having a debate on Twitter with somebody that FMCG, pharma is very narrowed down focus and all. So my reply to him was simple, because we have all narrow tracks. We have respiratory tract, we have GI tract. All these target areas are very narrow, so we can't go all out like FMCG. Yes, there are many elements which FMCG are also not doing. Now, coming to the point with challenge in terms, for a brand manager, they need to understand, like what Makarand was telling, how to build on content. I can't believe the statement. Very often I hear, sir, doctors are not interested in online. I can't believe that. Doctors are interested. The point is, we are not interesting enough. We are not making it interesting enough. They also want to come on Zoom, on internet or consume or see. You will find the number of doctors who have become a micro influencers on social media have increased drastically in last 5 years. There are many doctors who have many followers. They put on their digital content and all. So what happens basically is, what is the experience you are giving as a brand? Now, if I term it in terms of only the brand, many of the times like vildagliptin or these things, at a shot within a week, 50 new brands come and doctor has to paste, don't detail me vildagliptin. So ultimately, if you want to reach him out on digital, there is a different formula. Understand, we are not talking about marketing principles won't change. We are not talking about digital marketing. We are talking about marketing in the digital world. They are two different things. So when marketing in the digital world, you need to understand where a doctor is interested. So doctor has certain amount of behavior being on this thing. Like what geo fencing or geo tagging, which Ravi was mentioning. Yes, this is possible. We can do it. But the possibility is, tomorrow the messages will possibly start going like, sir, बहुत दिन हुआ आपने मेरा brand नहीं लिखा करके message जाएगा. So that should not happen. Now, if you see the Google Analytics, you'll be surprised. Every month, as per Google Analytics, every month, almost 10 million, that is a crore of people move to a new smartphone. So that is one reason why you will find so many mobiles and mobile advertisements. That is one of the highest ad spends which today across all the industries where new mobiles are coming in. So this rise of OTT, shift to mobile, smartphones, yes, doctors are interested, but we are not making it interesting enough. So what kind of content we have to balance in the physical meet, and it has to have the same theme or the picture in the digital front. So are we giving that to all the doctors? And it might be possible that you might end up having a different metrics tomorrow apart from your sales and prescription. So that can be correlated, like Apple does it. And tomorrow, I was discussing with Makarand before the session, Metaverse. Metaverse is something which Facebook is starting. They are changing their this thing. Now, what is Metaverse? It has a complete endless possibility. Now, many of them might not be knowing brands like Gucci and some other famous, fashion brands have moved and they are starting their stores in Metaverse, that is in the virtual world. Today you are posting, I am posting a picture or a video and I am watching. So this is, tomorrow one can be inside that with a VR game. So tomorrow, even I am thinking, why can't Pharma do a diabetes group in Metaverse? Why can't be like what he was, wearable devices? Why can't we have a Metaverse mein, virtual world mein, we can have our own, what do you call, a hypertension group or a diabetes group. And tomorrow, 5 years down the line, I'll not be surprised if tomorrow doctors are in the virtual world consulting to the patients. Now, there are fashion brands. There is one singer, I forgot, some American singer. She has already done a music concert on Metaverse. So, when Facebook is changing its way of functioning, automatically everyone will get habitual to it. So it will be more easier for pharma. So rather than challenge, I see it as an opportunity how we can explore metaverse as a next possible jump. So that's, I mean, that is what I feel. I mean, it will be like typical Avatar film which we saw. So that will be tomorrow. So that will be the traces.
Beautiful picture of tomorrow. Thank you, Mr. Pawan. And I think, yes, metaverse, good point. I think if the shift is happening, if the audience, the users are moving, and the channel, the platform that they are moving and they are consuming is where we need to be inclusive, avoid the bombardment, which currently is kind of the picture, but look at integrating the overall journey that our customer, our HCP has with the right content at the right time and the right service and the right help to them is where we would be able to maintain that relationship and help them in where they want to, and the pharma to also support. So thank you for adding those aspects into the overall discussion. And I think we we got the geo tagging was mentioned twice, and we are talking about the OTT,
Geofencing.
the personalization. So with that, Mr. Makarand wanted to get onto this aspects of personalization because, like you said, digital transformation is not where we have reached. Uh, if not, then in an ideal scenario of omni-channel, not the multi-channel approach of HCP marketing, uh, what is needed is to have the right system and the right way to look at the data to then put in that insight to our overall planning and strategy. What do you see today as the biggest roadblock into our journey and step towards personalization? And in fact, I would also want to add if you could bring in from the angle of understanding the customer, the content readiness, and the right mix of channels.
Yeah, I think I see 2 points here. One is the integration part, what you mentioned, and the second part I will take it as the right channels to choose. You know what? There are this one point. There is the biggest gap here, which I think most of us have to really fill in, is that we do not have accurate customer profiling. And when I say customer profiling, it is not the typical A class, B class doctors, P1, P2 product, and two visit, three visits. But what I'm trying to say is that the profiling. Uh, so trust me, I was discussing with some of my more, some other colleagues of the industry, and just debating on this topic of does pharma industry really have a robust system of customer profiling? Now I got various answers. One of them said to me that we get a profiling done basis the social media footprint of the doctor, right? Now that's great, interesting, because there are agencies we know that they pull out information from different social media platforms and they create a picture. Now the thing that see that is the doctor's life, doctor's profile in his personal space, which is interesting and required, right? But again, that probably would be more useful. I'm not saying it's not useful. But it would be more useful for a FMCG brand because that's where the life story connects with us, right? But uh, on the other hand, there is a lot of wisdom lying in what medical rep knows. When I say that that fellow, the soldier on the ground, not only knows that how much does he prescribe of brand and competitor brand, but also he knows that is he visit minded, is he sample minded, is he CME specific or whatever it is, or whichever molecule he likes or doesn't like. Now, what happens that many times that wisdom lies with the medical rep. Companies which have high action rate, the wisdom is lost immediately, and there is no centralized repository where this information is stored. in a structured way. That if a next fellow joins in, he has that picture of the mind, the doctor very clear about his choices in terms of therapy, choices in terms of channels in which he should be approved, and even little bit of personal point, that way. Now, what happens is that in life, in okay, I'm not saying it's not there. I know of many companies who really have a good system there, but I'm saying by and large, companies do not have this kind of information. Now, what happens is this information is not there. It's very difficult to really choose the right channel. So I need to have a good profile. Number two, also have an accurate information about the choice of channels what doctors use. Right? This is number second. Uh, and number three is that coming to the integration part. Uh, you know what? A doctor gets an email from four different business units of the same company for four different products. Now, I think the biggest victims are the MD physicians because they control all therapies, and same doctor getting multiple mails, multiple messages, and multiple bombardment, he gets fed up. Now, can the companies think of integrating there? If if I'm approaching a doctor, can I have a simple platform which, in some way, I can integrate the messages so that he's less spam? That's number one. Number two is that within a business unit, now forget other business units. Within a business unit, if I'm between different channels, are they talking to each other? For instance, if I'm using WhatsApp Enterprise, if I'm using emails, and what is being in the CME, is there a consistency? Am I giving the same messages in all the three channels? Is one channel leading to another and then to another? We need to check on this. So my point is that integration is key here because uh, otherwise we'll really torture the doctor. So that's number one. And number two, whatever we send out, it will not be that effective. So integration from our side, understanding the doctor's profile and choice of channels, and number three, having this information at a centralized place in the head office so that it can be used for different purposes. I think these three things are critical.
I think the right formula, having a connected system, like you said, and with this connected system, definitely the consistency of our messaging is what needs to be executed. But also, what we need to understand is the HCP level information, the HCP level insight, which the connected ecosystem will definitely provide. And this eventually helps us with the differential segmentation and targeting and giving the right content at the right time to the right customer. Perfect. So I think we've spoken about the changing need. We spoke about the system, the data. Now, one question, Mr. Ravi, that I have for you is what also came up in the earlier part of discussion. Mr. Makarand brought that point about the lead KPIs linking with the output KPIs. All these digital touch points give you the understanding of what's the reach, what's the engagement looking like. But from the reach, engagement, and the time spent for a CME from the doctor's side, how does it resonate and how do we connect to, is it actually helping us? Is it actually linking to the end prescription generation or the positivity, or it's actually helping us bring in that positive NPS? So, do you think we have such a robust mechanism, measurement mechanism in today? Have we moved, or are we agile, or have we shifted or skilled ourselves to start reading data and then course correcting and optimizing our efforts? What's your take on this?
Good question. This challenge, in fact, I have faced many time in my day-to-day practices. Last 2 years, we are seeing this happening across. And now when we discuss with HCPs, we come across that अब बहुत हो गया, enough. Now, अब बहुत हो गया, they are saying this with anguish, but there are good number of doctors, they still believe and they still want to continue with this kind of continuing medical education. Because if you recently, there is a conference has happened, IMCon. It was held in Bangalore. although the physical presence was very bleak, and now today everybody is such a big fraternity, 1500, 1600, they were through online. So this means, as my both the colleague panelists have spoken about, the content, the new research, if content is robust, doctor do come, they participate well, they share their thoughts, they give value added insights, and that keep on happening. So this means the crux is, if you have good content, latest content, research thing, then doctor is bound to come, because they want that, they believe that what they are doing, what they are studying, or what they are discussing, that matters a lot for their patient as well as for their practices.
Got it. Okay, so I think we've come to the point where I'll have to stop with my set of questions, but definitely there was a lot that was in there which I wanted to throw and hear from you. But I will take that offline and jump on to the set of questions that we have received. Starting off, I think the very first question, Mr. Makarand, you've made quite a statement today. I see there's a sea of questions just addressing on a common point, which is that if we are not digitally transforming, then what do you see the pharma industry, which is digitally transformed, as?
Okay, so what I meant by we have not digitally transformed is that there is a difference between digital transformation and digitalization of product promotion. What I mean to say is that digital transformation is running the business through digital with the help of digital. That means, do we have we changed our business model by using digital? Is the question. My now, if I give an example to you, one question to everyone is that when was the last time you actually visited a bank? Even I don't remember. The banks have fully digitally transformed. That's the fact. Uh, when was the last time when you actually went to a courier office to book a courier and you carried that stuff to their office? I don't remember, because you have an app, we fast, they come and collect it. So the point is that digital transformation means running your business digitally, and digital promotion means that you use the help of digital tools to do your product promotion. That is what I meant. And if you ask me that, and I mentioned too that I'm not saying that we haven't started, we have done that, but I'm saying that we are on the path to digital transformation. Now, I'm really happy to share with you that there are certain companies who have also started, business model. I mean, see, for instance, we all know that there are e-commerce portals available. Now, I can tell you that there are certain companies where the component of e-commerce is increasing. Now, roughly, I can tell you that uh, if you just discard certain companies who have a high component of the uh, consumer healthcare portion, on an average, I think 2.5%, max to max 3% of your business comes from e-commerce. Okay, but I think we are moving towards a era where that component will go up. So that is moving a step closer to digital transformation. Second part is that uh, I remember the other day, I think long ago, in fact, I was visiting a CFA. Now, this gentleman, he had a system there that every box which moved from his CFA's warehouse till it reaches the distributor, it was geotagged, and that could be fully, amazing. And it was not, and trust me, that if those boxes were not invoiced, the shutters or the gates of the godown will not open, will not pass through that. Now, the point is that this is a step towards digital transformation. So this is integrating digital in the way you run the business, or you are just using it for promotion. That was the point. Yeah. So what was the
I think
question?
that was a very Yeah, so that was definitely a tough spot, but you beautifully covered it. So I think I'll put you on that spot again. And if I have to ask you that on a scale of 1 to 10, how transformed are we digitally as industry, pharma industry in India? what would be your answer?
No, I think on a scale of 1 to 10, we are somewhere near 4, is what I would say. And I don't blame the industry. I mean, I'm a part of it, so I blame myself equally for this. And I think I'm also equally responsible being in the industry for so long. So it's not them versus me, but it's all we. So I think we are at 4 today. Definitely the kind of talent what we have and the way we are moving now, I think we should reach a 6 in the next coming 3 to 4 years.
Thank you. I think it's a positive start, and definitely we, as a united force, the 6 can turn to a 10 quickly. We being optimistic and being positive. Moving on to Mr. Pawan. Mr. Pawan, there's this question from the brand manager, the brand custodian, and the question seems to be direct from heart. The question says that the challenge that a marketer always faces internally from the leadership, naya kya hai? So in this changing time when too many things are coming up which are new, too many things which seems promising but might not show the positive result. Uh, what's your message and guidance to that brand manager who's maneuvering and embracing this change, but also laying the bricks and the stone for future?
Very interesting question. Naya kya hai? Now, if Naya kya hai, I'll tell you the first way of looking at it. Naya kya hai, the question should not be asked by the senior leadership to the brand manager. This question should be asked by the brand manager to the self. You khud ko pucho aap naya kya kar rahe ho. So if you are going back again with the same LBL, chit pad, pen, paper and all, then I think that's not a right this thing. Secondly, when we are talking about this digitization and all stuffs like that, see earlier what was the condition, 50s, 60s when brands were there. Earlier the challenge was, the leaders were those who reach out first, who can, the transformation which has happened. I would love to really quote here the author Yuval Noah Harari. He has mentioned it in his book very nicely, that there were times in the earlier days where kings and queens who had land, money, had the power. Then the next stage came where people who had, the manufacturing capacity, the reach out capacity, that was the industrialization phase, they were powerful. Today, none of these are matter. Whether you are a king, queen or manufacturing capacity, no. Whether you have the data. And that is one reason why your Tata and so many, in fact, today morning, I think I read a news piece that Flipkart has entered into one of, with somebody, e-pharmacy chain. So why do you think they are not coming, Tata is not coming into 1mg just to improvise their courier business? There's a huge amount of data. Tomorrow there'll be like, things like, your gene mapping. Gene mapping can be done like your blood sugar, everything, and you can predict everything pre-hand. So there is a lot of open market, and what I see from here is it's not only the treatment, the prevention market will become bigger. So as a brand manager, if you think in terms of where your brand is being positioned, is it in terms of prevention? Is it in terms of therapy? Is it convalescence or a recovery period? And more important, today in digital world, what is happening? What has crisis, this COVID crisis has helped, taught us? You see, which all the brands you recall during a question to everyone? You find brands like, SpiceJet. You find many of the brands like Parle-G, which distributed 3 crore packets to, migrant workers and all, So how this crisis was used to as an opportunity to build the brand. So brand earlier, what typically was what my brand says, what I'm saying. But today, the whole world is different. Doctors are also watching it. Today, the more, the requirement is how the brand behave, what does the brand do. So as a brand manager, it is not about, just saying, making a punchline and just that's it. But what is the additional thing you are doing for the patients, for the doctors, how you are engaging them? Like for example, there are many brands which requires a guidance to how to take it. Today, typically, we have many of these brands, especially these diabetic brands, or even these hormones which have day 1, day 2, day 3 mentioned. Can we do, can we take this on a digital platform, put a QR code to it, and make a very interactive Gaia, AI driven QR code, which, the patient can experience so he doesn't miss his doses. So there are many things which new things can be done. New things are all around. Only if we, think in a perspective of the patient and not the boss. So for all my brand managers friends, I would suggest, your boss is not your boss at the office. Your boss is your brand, your patient. So listen to them first and listen to your boss later.
Well said. I think the brand, your patient, your stakeholder, your customer is the one that you need to listen to. Their need is what needs to bring out Naya
And
Kya
more
Hai.
important, more frequently, keep asking Naya Kya Hai to self.
Yes, I'm sure everyone who's listening here from the marketing fraternity of pharma industry is definitely noting that and will be questioning that on a regular basis. I think I'll just take two questions, one for Mr. Makarand and then one for Mr. Ravi. So, Mr. Makarand, coming to you first, before I come to you, Mr. Ravi, and the question is that we spoke about embracing the digitization, the data generation. So when we need to understand the digital footprint of our HCPs, there is enough data that is available outside in the industry, even if it is not up to what we as an organization might be looking in an integrated fashion. The data is there. Uh, if we talk about the HCP segmentation with this digital footprint tracking, how do you see this helping our overall strategy and plans? And the question specifically wants you to address that given the tools that already exist, why are we not getting on to talking about building digital personas, understanding this data, and quickly incorporating in our plans?
Yes, so I think even before we go for measuring the digital footprint of doctors, I think we have to ask a question to ourselves: have we organized the data which we actually get first? What we have now, you know what? Let me tell you, we actually have tremendous amount of data floating in the organization at different corners. I think getting that data organized first is a big challenge. I'll give an example to you. Even before I go and start tracking which doctor of mine visits which page of Facebook, how many times, I don't need that today. I'll do it. But what I need first is a very basic stuff that for my brand, uh, do I have an integrated stream of data from a customer window? For instance, if Dr. Pawan Kulkarni is at Mumbai and he has been visited this date by a medical rep, on this date there was an email sent, then on this date he attended a CME, and on XYZ there was something else which was done. Now the point is that so one doctor and all the touch points seamlessly woven into it, and can I overlap that to what is the response? For instance, if this doctor got so many visits, this was the message given to him, and these were the touch points, and these were the questions asked by him. Just example. The point is that the day when we integrate that, let me tell you, you will get a lot of stuff. Now the point is that this is not even big data. Okay, how many doctors do we handle? See, any business unit normally has around say 200 to 300 medical reps. 100 doctors roughly in the list. So it's about 30,000 doctors data we are talking about. Now 30,000 doctors of data, uh, annual visit, annual touch points, if we integrate, and the questions he's asking, and some behavioral patterns. So what I'm trying to say is that this data partly is there with the medical reps, partly there with the Salesforce excellence teams in our head office, and partly it is with some managers. So my point is that can we put together our acts first? Let's get this data robust, analyze it, and let me tell you, we get a lot of stuff. This is the first point. Now, once we do that, the next step is what I mentioned some time ago, is that then we should get on the exercise of having a structured exercise where we have information on very 5 to 6.
I think it could be the network issue at Mr. Makarand's end. Uh, till the time we have him back. But I guess to summarize what he actually wanted to call out and where he was addressing of organizing the data that we have, we need to integrate, organize before we get into talking about the segmentation. The various different cohorts that the data group can help us, which can help us in being direct, which can help us in being specific, is what we all need to start questioning and looking at laying down those steps for us. Now, coming to the last question, and Mr. Ravi, quickly to you. The question is around executional excellence, the effectiveness. Now, we're talking about different digital touch points. Mr. Pawan also mentioned about the e-detailers that we have today. Now, whether we move from a basic PDF to HTMLization or a very engaging and immersive dynamic detailing to the doctor, or even coming up with very strategic digital initiatives, projects, the end person who is deploying this is our medical team, is our field team, the medical rep. Now, not necessary that the skill set has already been developed to talk about and to detail or to deliver with the right impact and with the right effectiveness that it is needed. What do we then do in order to build this excellence, which brings us the operational excellence and effectiveness for us?
Thank you very much for the question. I have answer to this just one thing: train, train, and train. I don't think any other thing can happen other than this, because see what happens. We as a brand manager, even I was brand manager, what we used to do, चलो एक बार ट्रेनिंग कर दिया काम खत्म हो गया, but our work does not end there. We need to be in constant touch with the people. We need to keep on training through some workshop model, some capsule model, and we'll have to keep them giving some instruction on a regular basis till the time they are pakka, because we don't know what kind of situation they face during each and every calls, right? So let's say how to probe the question, how to ask the question, how to start the conversation. Every time you have different situation, you have 16 points in a visual aid or in a communication guidance, but what is the right way to deliver that one point at a particular given point of time? You need to train them. So train, and train. That's only way out for this, and we need to take this this forefinger towards us, that have we enough done for this? If we do that, we will see a sea change in this. Because लोग कहते हैं कि when डॉक्टर अब गाड़ी के पास से मिलते हैं, can we have we spoken the गाड़ी के पास में well in a different way altogether? Do you need always you need to take out your visual aid? Perhaps no, you need not to take a visual aid altogether, but you can talk very intelligently and talk something sense, and doctor will listen to you. क्या हम अपने दोस्तों के साथ ऐसे बात करते हैं visual aid निकाल के? No, we never talk like this. Although they are customer, they are our we do a lot of things with them, but have you spoken on those lines? So this only can happen through trainings, and we'll have to always point four fingers towards us, what good we have done to them, how much we have imparted towards them. That's only take on this thing for me.
I would like
train,
to
train, and train. Yes, sorry, Mr. Pawan.
what he mentioned was very rightly. I would like to add here one very simple point, two things. or to all the brand managers, especially if your brand is any brand which you have recently launched or 1 year, 2 year old or 5, 10 crores, whichever, just go on and type your brand name on YouTube, right? Any brand. Even if you don't, because I was seeing this thing, how to develop digital content on the brands. You go on YouTube and type your brand name, just have a random check. You will find a dozen videos which are created on your brand as a review. And review is done by some random guy who is not even qualified or even doesn't know even how to speak the molecule or the brand name correctly. And he has done a review of your brand. Now imagine if this is being seen by a end customer, and practically there are thousands of brands, and these videos which are posted on YouTube have had 1000-2000 already views mila hoga. So as a brand manager, do you want this kind of content to be called as a digital footprint of your brand? Naturally no. Another point what Ravi was mentioning in terms of training and all, I would rather, it just crossed my mind. This here, pharma can take up digital aids as help. If you go to any pharma company, you talk about a brand or a company to a 10-year-old guy or a 5-year-old guy or somebody 1 month old. Their experience pattern is different and they speak totally different. So can we have that one common thing about all, to all the employees, to say one thing about the company that can be used through the digital medium? What what to call as internationally, I think Apple does it, Google does it. It's called as employee activation program. So everyone goes through the same process. So once most these companies start doing it, they will know what are the pitfalls, how to give that customer activation. So that will be the self-learning. In fact, iPad and all, which we spoke initially, I think both of my friends will agree. When this SFE system, Salesforce automated system came into picture, many of the companies rejected it. They wanted to be physical, but they were forced. Today, practically everyone is using. So digital also will be the same, right? And somebody was asking, will pharma be able to adapt to metaverse? We will be forced to. If we are not this thing, there is no other option. Somebody else will. So there are many companies who are alert now. There are many people, professionals who understand the importance of digital. Yes, it will not be 100% digital. The typical. You'll not find no medical reps, and medical reps will not have job. Medical reps will have job, but they will be more not a salesman but a smartsman. So that training from salesmanship to smartsmanship is what is required.
Absolutely correct.
Along with Mr. Pawan's these lines, I would like to add one more point here. See, when we are trying to become a good salesman, 3 things are very important. One is know your product, know yourself, and third is very important when you are as a good salesman. It's not customer, it's know your company. If you know those 3 things, then those values will remain with you and you will be a good salesman, good brand manager, and you will succeed.
Thank you, Mr. Pawan and Mr. Ravi, for that great jugalbandi and addressing of what's really needed. I know we have spilled over and beyond our time, but I would like to thank each and everyone who joined in today and also patiently waited and have been with us till the end of it. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Pawan, Mr. Ravi Kumar, and Mr. Makarand for joining in, for taking out their time. And I think I'm delighted to be the moderator of this amazing session that just happened today. Thank you so much for your time and for your views. I hope there's a lot of food for thought that each and every one of us is taking away from here today. So thank you again and enjoy your weekend. Bye. Stay safe.
Bye. Yeah, I'd just like to conclude. Thanks again, everyone, all the speakers. And truth be told, I think this was a real soul searcher. It was very different from the previous sessions because it's almost like in Emperor's New Clothes, we are almost shouting out to the naked emperor. So it's the loyal subjects only who do that, and it's brutal honesty on where we are going and where we are currently. So those who talk about, yes, we are in the transformation phase, I think we're just in the translation phase. So we are very far from what we need to go. And this, I think, lots of learning and ideating here. And I've written a lot of points. Yeah, Paul. Yes, Mr. Paul. Yeah.
Sorry, you have a very important role to take here with your doc mode and all, because I remember this Martin Luther King statement. We have guided missiles, but handled by misguided men. So digital is also the same thing. So we should not get into misguided people handling it. But yes, you have a big role to bring up those new elements and introducing pharma. So
thanks so much, and a lot of learning and ideating here. And I'm sure with at least the realization that we take home, and everyone that with leaders like you all, I think with the outlooks and the thought process. And we are comforted by the fact that the industry is in real good hands going forward. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your inputs. And
Thank you very much.
We're looking forward.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.